Welcome everybody to the Merle on the Move podcast radio show. Now streaming live here on YouTube and all streaming services. Welcome to the show. Happy New Year, everybody. Start to the new year, first show of the year, January 6th. A lot of things going on. It's the anniversary of the riots at the Capitol 3 years ago. I don't know if you should call it anniversary, but yeah, 3 years ago, they stormed the Capitol trying to stop the count of what's it called? Not the caucus, whatever it is, when they get all the people in the states to vote. I forget what it's called, but yeah, for the states. Anyway, certifying their election. That's what they was trying to do. So a lot of stuff I'm gonna talk about. Welcome everybody. I'm glad to be here. Starting the year, still doing it live, still here in the studio. A lot of stuff going on. Big things. 2024 is here. Welcome. If you made it, check me out. So topics I'm gonna go over today. I'm talking about the Rams. Where I'm wearing the Rams. Got the Rams hat on today. Rams lid. I'm talking about football. Game happened. 2 games happened today. Cowboys won last week. It was a call. A lot of people's controversy, officials, but Cowboy fans are happy. I'm gonna talk about some. Not only that, I'm gonna go over a few personal topics. I ain't gonna say personal topics. Topics that affect everybody that are pet owners. I'm gonna go over some, the food that they put in the refrigerator. What's it called? Fresh Pet. We're gonna talk about fresh pet food because it's not just for dogs. It's dogs and cats. So we're gonna talk about that fresh pet a little bit. Also, the topics I'm gonna talk about. Talk about Cat Williams. I watched Club Shay Shay, Shannon Sharp. I watched that. We're gonna talk about that a little bit. I have a take about that. Also, I watched the Apple VR and the Apple glasses. They finna come out with that. VR is like 3,500 or something like that. The glasses is cheaper, but yeah, technology is really taking off. I'm gonna talk about that just a little bit. And also we're going to talk about um, brands, and how important brands are. I'm a Jordan connoisseur. I'm a shoe collector. I like shoes. I'm a shoe person. I don't just collect Jordans. Jordans is high on my list when it comes to shoes. But I'm gonna talk about that a little bit. Those brands matter. So we talk about that a little bit. And the last thing I kind of want to talk over is something funny about Jack and Jill, or the name Jill, and the shooting. We had a shooting here in Iowa at a high school at a town called Perry, not too far from where I live here in Ames. So I think it's like maybe a 40 minute ride from here. Uh, we talk about that a little bit about schools, public schools, private schools, and the agenda. And of course, I'm going to talk about the caucus and some stuff I found out about the caucus. And we're going to talk about Trump and how Biden finally came out and said something about Trump. So we can go over all that stuff. This is the show. This is Moral on the Move. I'm here. Welcome. It's going to be live. It's going to be lit, always. So stay tuned. I'm going to get it going. Music in the background. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm turned up. So let's get into it. First topic, sports. You know how I like to do it. I like to go into sports. So the Lakers, LeBron. The Lakers, they won that midseason tournament. They got 500,000 apiece. And a lot of those guys, that's probably a big check. You know what I mean? And everybody on the team got it. They haven't won since. What is going on with my Lakers? They out of 11 games, I think they 2-9. I think they won 2 games out of 11. They just say losing. They just signed another player, a first round pick from Cleveland, 6'6" guard. I forget his name. I don't have it up here right now. I got my sports pulled up here. But is that the answer? He shoot threes. He 38% from the free throw. I mean, from the 3-point line. He was playing with the Knicks though. I think he came up from the Knicks. All right, got him. They got a couple other players too. Uh, I don't know. That's gonna help him. My Lakers. I don't know what's gonna happen, but we're gonna keep it going. So the football, the Colts won. I mean, I take that back. Sorry, the Texans. Shout out. My apologies. The Texans beat the Colts. The Colts did not win. The Colts lost. So the Texans probably will be winning. I'm not winning. Moving on, hopefully, to that wild squad. Shout out to Stroud, that young C.J. Stroud. I like him, the Texans quarterback. And I like the coach. He was the coach of San Francisco 49ers. Uh, DeMarco, I think his name is DeMarco something. Anyway, I like him. Black coach doing things down there. I mean, they Texans ain't been good ever. So see him doing things. Also, it was early in the game. The Steelers won. Also, they beat Baltimore. They didn't even play. My man, the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, uh, Lamar Jackson. They didn't play him, so they set him down, So Steelers won that game. They might make it into the playoffs. But my Rams, I think we still got to win tomorrow, and we're in. I would think we're in anyway. But yeah, so that's it on sports. Yeah, it's winter time. It's supposed to be really cold. Things, storms coming on. And we had a little snow flurries here in Iowa. Nothing on the ground. It's been crazy. Now this is Iowa. Here in Iowa, it gets bad around Halloween. It's cold. Maybe a little snow dusting on the ground here in Iowa, but it hasn't been. We got nothing. We got some flurries. We got a dusting. We haven't had really. I'm knocking on some wood right here. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I wanted to come and get some feed or crazy blizzard because it's known to happen here, but it hasn't been like that. You know what I mean? And it's January now. It wasn't a white Christmas around here. That's for sure. Not in this area of Iowa. Northern and western Iowa, they got some weather. They got some snow and stuff. But here in central Iowa, it's been mild, and I'm okay with that. It hasn't even got below zero here. Last year, before Christmas, it was negative zeros, negative 13, negative 20, wind chill below negative 40, negative 40 wind chill. Like, what is going on? Go outside of you. They're talking about warning. Don't go outside unless you have to. That's what they're telling people. Do not go outside unless you have to. You know it's cold if they're telling you, hey, man, don't go outside unless you got to. But, people don't listen and jobs don't care. Get your butt outside. It's like that. It's really like that. You got to keep water, a fully charged cell phone, and blankets in your vehicle if you go out here in Iowa and you get broke down to some of these rural areas or rural roads and safety people can't get to you, emergency people can't get to you, you got to wait it out. So keep that in mind. But we've been forcing it this year not to have that bad weather. So moving past sports, I'm going to go on to this a little entertainment. Oh, we got a little static here on here. Let's go into a little entertainment just a little bit. Let's talk about this Cat Williams thing. This Cat Williams thing. I got a lot of noise going on here. Oh, so this Cat Williams, great comedian. Love Cat Williams. Always been a fan of Cat Williams. And he was on Club Shay Shay. And while he was on Club Shay Shay, he decided that he came right in. I ain't gonna say he decided. I think that was his whole mission. I don't know if Shannon was ready. I think Shannon was took like off guard that Cat was coming because Shannon got relationships and he's mentioned this. Shannon Sharp has relationships. Shannon Sharp, you know who he is. He's a tight end, Hall of Fame tight end, Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls, the Denver Broncos. I don't know what that is. The Denver Broncos, and he also won Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens. So Shannon Sharp is that dude. I think that's 3 Super Bowls. He that guy. So anyway, I love his show. I like him, his personality. I like, but his comparisons. The Club Shay Shay. If you know Merle, you know the connection to that. And then he's got a show. It's called The Nightcap. Merle in 2017. Our show was called Nightcap. We got a banner, Mr. Famous banner. It's called Nightcap. It's on Instagram, so it was legitimate. It's called The Nightcap. His stuff is called Nightcap. So I ain't fronting or hating or whatever you want to call it, but shout out to you. You need to give me an interview on there, bro. Let me work on the show or something. Anyway, big fan. Anyway, so I say that to say this. Shannon he did not bring Cat on there. I'm sure he did not know Cat was going to start airing Kevin Hart and all these other people out there. He's already had a show. But the whole point of it was that some of these comedians, and Cat being a comedian, he wanted to come out and say some things that he feels was misjudged. And I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the responses because I seen all the responses. I seen what Ice Cube had to say. I seen what Kevin Hart had to say. I seen what Ricky Smiley had to say. I seen what some other comedians like Lavelle Crawford, a few other guys. You know what I'm saying? I said Michael Blackson. I seen what he had to say, and I'm gonna get to that. And I met Michael Blackson. I interviewed him a little bit. Didn't get much recording, but I got like maybe 2 minutes of recording with him. But anyway, so Cat Williams is a GOAT. The biggest thing I'm going to talk about is Cedric the Entertainer and Steve Harvey. I'm going to hit on the other things, but the Cedric the Entertainer and the Steve Harvey thing. So look, let me get to the Steve Harvey thing. Cat, great comedian. Now, when Cat was doing his comedian, like he was back, he'd been doing it a long time. I'll say that this is probably back in 2001, right? Maybe 2002. Comic View was a thing. I really wasn't. I watched Comic View. I wasn't a big fan of Comic View. Bigger fan of Def Comedy Jam, but didn't watch a lot of Comic View. They had a lot of hosts. Ricky Smiley was a host. Cat Williams. I don't know if Cat Williams was a host or not. They had a lot of different hosts. I know Cat was on there a lot. And he said he did a joke, and on the joke that he did, they also aired that same joke during the commercials. So it was a pretty popular joke. So it means it showed a lot. Parts of the joke, not the whole joke. And Cedric happened to be in the crowd one day, or for this taping or whatever it was. He was there, and he seen the joke. And after the joke, he came backstage and said to Cat, "Hey man, that was a good joke, or whatever you said was good." Blah 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 blah. Later on, the Kings of Comedy come out. I watched King Comedy. I watched it probably 2002, 2003, something like that. Watched it around that time. I lived in Indiana when it came out. Watched it, and loved it. Steve Harvey, he came out. When I watched it, they said the original Kings of Comedy, Guy Torry was the D.L. Hughley wasn't on the show. It was Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, Bernie Mac, and Guy Torry. They added D.L. Hughley later, and Guy Torry became the host. But when you watch the movie, the video, you don't see Guy Torry. I think Guy Torry might be to do the intro, and that's it. You see Steve hosting it. Then you see DL come out. Then you see Cedric. Then you see Bernie. Right? So that's the order. Bernie closed the show. So when I watched the Kings of Comedy, I watched Steve. I'm seeing some of his jokes, and Steve Harvey was known. Steve Harvey was known for his suits. If you know hip hop, especially back then, you got to take yourself back then. If these younger people, y'all probably don't understand. Y'all know Steve Harvey from Family Feud. Okay, y'all know Steve Harvey from Family Feud. Okay, you don't know Steve Harvey from the Apollo and from his TV show. When Sid was on his TV show, what was his TV show called? I can't remember what it was called. Anyway, but he had a Steve Harvey show. I think it was called something like that. But back then, before Family Feud and all that, before the bald head, y'all know him with the bald head, big mustache, funny, funny talking, country. Steve Harvey, he ain't even. I think he's from the country, but I thought he's from Ohio. But anyway, Cleveland. That's what he claimed all the time. But he had a high top fade because this was a thing. He had the box fade, right? Tight fade. Had the fade around the side, and then went into the fade box, right? He had that, and he wore fresh suits. He was to be the host of the Apollo and all that. And that's what he was known for when he did comedy, all that. Rappers with Cash Money, Manny Fresh, I think it was, I can't remember the song, might have been Gator Boost with my pimped out Sue, something. So Fly, I think it's So Fly. I say So Fly. Anyway, I think it's that song. Anyway, they say something about Steve Harvey lining. Because Steve was known to have the fresh lining. Fresh lining. Box lining around that high top fade, right? I mean, it was fresh. Not only did Cash Money, I think Manny Fresh mentioned it in that song, or that song, if not that song, a song. The other artists also mentioned he was known. I've heard this many times. He was known to have that fresh, crispy lining. The Steve Harvey lining. That's what they talked about, okay? So, I'm living in Indiana now. In 2000, smartphones didn't come out till 2007, 2008. So, it was no Facebook, was no MySpace even back then. The internet was not something people really dealt with. I mean, businesses dealt with it, but if you were sitting at home, you really weren't on the internet like that. There was no internet sites like it is right now. So, back in like 2002, 2003, Steve Harvey was like, he was still doing comedy. I remember I watched this. He did a special without cussing. I think he did a regular special before that. Did even one without cussing, right? He was changing his life or whatever. Cat Williams was burning it down. He was touring, he was selling out, touring, he was doing his thing. So they had some beef or something where they decided they was gonna have a battle who was the hottest comic. And it was in Detroit. Okay, they did it in Detroit. Now, it was filmed. I think somebody recorded it back then. But it wasn't like I said, it was no YouTube. It was no stuff like that where you could just stream it. So if you wasn't in the audience and you didn't have a grainy cell phone to record it, it's no video. As I don't think they recorded it, right? But in that special, Cat says that on Club Shay Shay, he revealed he did reveal that was a wig on Steve Harvey's head. That was never his real hair that he was getting that line in. It was a unit. I think he called it a man unit. I think a man unit is something else, pause. But yeah, that he was bald. And before, in my recollection, before that battle that Steve Harvey and Cat Williams had in Detroit, Steve Harvey had that hot top fade. After that battle, that comedy battle they had in Detroit, Steve Harvey was bald-headed. And I remember when I seen him bald, I didn't know why. I was like, dang, he bald. Why was Steve cutting his hair off? Like, he didn't go like, cut the fade down, just have some waves, or just have a low taper, or just, cut it low. No, he was like, your wrist bald. I don't know if people got hair on their wrists or not, but he was bald. Like, how you go from Steve Harvey with the Steve Harvey line and the box fade to that? Unless you was already like that, and now he done called you out and you trying to save face. Don't know that to be true, but check it out if you want to. And everything's being exposed. And I'm not saying that's a big deal either. But if that's what you're known for, that's what you're known for. If that's what you're known for, that's like me being known for being a Rams fan. That's not what I'm known for. But if that's what you want to know me for, I'm cool with that too. But that's like me being known for as being a Rams fan. All of a sudden, I'm not. Or you find out I wasn't really a Rams fan. I was really a Cowboys fan. Like, I got Cowboys gear in my crib. For me, I would never. I don't care how good the outfit look. You ain't never finna find me in no Cowboys gear, bro. Never. So anyway, that being said, so that's one part. That's just the one part. So now let's go to the Cedric Entertainer thing. Oh, because I'm from the crib. Said from the crib, from St. Louis, from the Loop. So he a homie. We got something coming. Love said, like him. Is he really funny? I don't know. I like him though. He's funny. Now, the Kings of Comedy thing I was just telling you about. So in that Kings of Comedy episode, now I didn't remember the skit that Cat did on Comic View. I never seen it. I never seen it live. I seen it on video, and it was before the Kings of Comedy. And I guess Cedric didn't deny that he's seen Cat do it. Kings of Comedy. Ced does his thing. Now, Ced is not. Ced back then, Cedric the Entertainer wasn't really known. Matter of fact, everybody on that Kings of Comedy, nobody was known. Bernie Mac wasn't known. Comics knew him, and black people knew him because of Def Comedy Jam, but he wasn't known to America. Bernie Mac wasn't. DL was kind of all right name. He wasn't known to white people. He had a show, though. He had a TV show, the DL Hughley Show. You know what I mean? So he had a name. Steve Harvey had a name because he had the TV show and, the radio show. He had a name. Cedric didn't really have a name. He did a few things. He was on Steve's show, so they threw him a bone. But he got a name from being on the Kings of Comedy because he really ripped it. But his last joke, now his stuff was okay. It was funny. If I can recollect, it was funny. I ain't hating on Ced. Shout out to Ced. He said. He supported the crib. But his last joke that he did before he left stage was the one with the spaceship, and they was going out of the moon talking about black people. If white people leaving the planet or something, like black people going to it, like hold up, woo, and they get in the car, but the car is raggedy. And he do the same joke that Cat does on the Kings of Comedy. He did change a few things. He didn't do it verbatim. And it was funny. To me, when I seen that Kings of Comedy, I remember I was cracked because I love Ced. So I'm cracking up. I'm like, man, said it's so funny because that joke he hit that joke. That joke landed with me, and I'm thinking that's his joke. Come to find out, you took that joke and you put your own spin to it. So how do I feel about that? I don't know. If you gave homage, you know what I'm saying? You paid the man or you did business with the man, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you know you took that joke. You just put a spin on it. But I guess that's comedy because it's coming out a lot of people doing that. I feel some type of way about that. The way Cat was airing out Ricky Smiley, kind of right. A lot of these comedians do have to wear dresses. I don't know have to, but maybe they choose that route because they think it's funny. It's funny to put a maybe it's non-threatening to put a black man in a dress. I don't I'm trying to see the correlation to how it's funny. It's Medea when Tyler Perry does Medea. I used to watch his plays back in the early 2000s. I used to watch Medea plays before he had the BET shows and all this other in the studio and all that. And he was funny. And I did watch it because of him. But if I don't know what's the connection though. I don't know why I'm thinking that's funny. Cause do I know my grandmother didn't act like that? Neither one of my grandmothers acted like that. Do I know any grandmothers that act like that? Maybe kind of, sort of, or is that Tyler Perry playing off a stereotype, like super ultra stereotype? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, but he exposed that. You know, if you want to wear a dress, you wear a dress. You know, I don't think I would ever do that. It had to make sense. I don't understand how wearing a dress makes sense. Uh, and I'm not hating on people that do. If that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. All of them, the big comedians have done it. All of them, pretty much. Dave Chappelle hasn't. Dave Chappelle had a special that came out too. We'll talk about that a little bit too here. Anyway, so let me finish the Cat Williams thing. So anyway, so Cat went on, and everybody's on him, and I don't know how I feel. Ice Cube said that the thing about Ricky Smiley saying that he was gonna be the pimp and he's gonna be Money Mike. He did audition. Ice Cube said, yeah, that's why Cat was mad at Ricky Smiley because he said that Ricky Smiley said that he auditioned first, so he had the role to be the pimp, Money Mike first, and something happened and Cat got it and whatever. Cat was like, "There's no way you ever had that chance to be Money Mike." That whole thing was for me. And what Ice Cube said, yeah, Ricky did actually try out for audition for Money Mike before Cat, but when Cat came in and auditioned, they was like, "Yeah, this is him. This is our Money Mike." And then also, Ice Cube did confirm that Cat did write some of the ad lib and write some of the stuff for Money Mike, and that's why his part was a little bit longer. He did bring more to the table for Money Mike. Ice Cube did deny none of that. So far, what I'm hearing about what Cat Williams said for y'all information, I haven't heard anything wrong. Kevin Hart said that he feel like Cat. He called him champ. You need to get that anger out of your champ, and then he started doing publicity for his movie that's coming out. He didn't deny it. He didn't come back at him. He didn't deny it. Michael Blackston, like I said, I've met him. I spoke to him, took pictures with him and all that. You check it on social media. I got a little 2-minute interview with him. It's not long. He said that Cat Williams is a genius. He came after the top 10 comedians alive right now. He did all that just to make himself relevant again. I hope you wasn't including yourself in the top 10 because Michael Blackson, you are not. That top 25 maybe, and relevant. He's been. It's Cat Williams, bro. We talking about Cat. He's been. It's Money Mike. Like it's pimp named Slickback. It's pimp named Slickback from Boondocks. I can't even say it right. Yeah, y'all was talking about. That's who that is, man. You tripping. You Michael Blackson, mother sucker. That's who you is. You know what I'm saying? You do a parody, a super stereotype of Africans in America for no reason. He called you out too and said that he told you stop doing that. Why are you coming over here barefooted, doing all your comedy with no shoes on, barefooted, with a dashiki on, and using this language and like being African is funny. There's something funny about that. And he said it's Africans in Africa dressing normal doing comedy. So why are you over here doing that? And you stop doing it. As soon as you stop doing it, you started getting money. You started being in more shows and more movies and getting got a podcast and all that. You stop doing that. Just be funny. So yeah, Cat's super relevant, bro. He ain't calling these dudes out to be Martin Lawrence and all that to be relevant. He wanted them. If anybody can call them dudes out, Cat Williams can call them dudes out. He wanted them. He a GOAT. He ain't Dave Chappelle. He ain't Martin Lawrence. He ain't Eddie Murphy. He ain't Bernie. But he wanted him, though. He wanted him. Just like they ain't Cat Williams. Real talk. So how dare you, Michael Blackson, say that? You relevant, bro. Ain't nobody saying you a scrub, but you ain't him.